multiply the two numbers that are across from each other. So we have 2/5 times 5, which is the same as 5 over 1. I'm going to simplify out my 5's, make each of those 1. I have 2 times 1, which is 2. 1 times 1 is 1, so that's just going to be 2. So then I want to do 2, or 2 over 1, divided by 8 over 1, which is the same as 2 over 1 times 1/8, which will give me 2 over, or I can simplify out here, which will give me 1 and 4. So 1 times 1 will be 1, 1 times 4 is just 4. So that's how I know that my answer will also be 1/4 there. If we look at number 13, 13 says, if you can buy a half a gallon of milk for $3, how much can you purchase for $5? Write your answer as a fraction of a gallon. This is going to be a pretty messy problem. I know that I want to put, I'm going to put my money at the top, and then I'm going to put gallons at the bottom. Doesn't matter which order as long as you're consistent. So I'm going to pay $3 for 1/2 gallons, and then I'm going to pay $5 for X gallons. And then when I do this, I'm going to multiply my two numbers that are across from each other. So I have 1/2 times 5 over 1, which is just 5, which gives me 5/2. And then I'm going to divide this by 3, or 3 over 1. I'm going to rewrite this as 5/2 times 1/3. I can't simplify that at all, so I'm left with 5/6. So I can buy 5/6 gallons with $5. And then we look at number 14. It says a car can move 45 yards in 5/4 seconds. How long will it take the car at the same speed to move 80 yards? Write your answer as a fraction of a second. So this is going to be similar to the one that we did before, a little bit messy. So I'm going to write my yards at the top, seconds at the bottom. I have 45 yards to begin with in 5/4 of a second, and I want to go 80 yards in how many seconds? So we're going to start by multiplying 5/4 times 80, or 80 over 1. We're going to simplify out 4, which will make this 1. 80 divided by 4 is 20. Can't simplify anything else out. So then I'm going to have 5 times 20, which is 120 over 1. And then we're going to multiply that, or divide that, excuse me, rather, by 45, or 45 over 1. So I'm going to then rewrite this as 120 over 1 times 1 over 45. I can simplify out a 5 in both of these. I know that this will be 9, and I know that this will be 24. Then I'm going to go ahead and I can see that I can take another 3 out. So I'm going to make this 3. I'm going to make my 24 8. You know what? I'm sorry. I completely messed up. This should only be 100. Let's fix this. I'm going to start from this point. We need 5 times 20, not 6 times 20, which will give us 100 over 1. And then again, we're going to divide that by 1 over 45, which is, or 45 over 1. We're going to rewrite that as 100 over 1 times 1 over 45. Then we're going to simplify out our 5's. This will become a 9 up top, divided by 5 gives us 20. When we multiply this out, we get 20 over 9, but then we know that this is an improper fraction, So we want to write it as a mixed number. I know 9 goes into 20 2 times with a remainder of 2. So that is the same as 2 and 2/9, which I'm going to write as my answer. Okay, now we get into our word problems. The first word problem says a car travels 330 miles in 6 hours. What is the average speed in miles per hour? So we're going to write a proportion for this to start off with. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do a lot of these problems. These are just one way that you can solve them. So I'm going to start with miles per hour. I have 330 miles in 6 hours. I want to figure out how many miles in 1 hour. Put x at the top. When I cross multiply and solve that, I get x is 55 miles. You can also just write it as a ratio and simplify that out. So you have 330 divided by 6 is another way that you can get 55 miles. Number 16 says, a traveler wants to convert money from Japanese yen to US dollars. The exchange rate is 90.3 Japanese yen per US dollar. A tourist who buys a pizza that costs 3,000 yen in Japan is spending how much in US dollars? Round to the nearest penny. So the two units that we are talking about is US dollars and yen. The exchange rate is for $1. It's 90.3 yen. How many dollars is 3,000 yen? When you figure that out, you see that they spent $33.22 on that pizza. 17, a nutrition label says that one serving of a sports drink contains 120 calories. If you drink the entire bottle, the label says that you have consumed 2.4 servings. How many calories are in the entire bottle? Again, we'll set up a proportion. We're going to put our units in first. We're talking about servings to calories. So first we say that for one serving, it's 120. For 2.4 servings, we want to know how many calories is that. And we see that it is going to be, when you cross multiply 120 times 2.4, you get 288 calories. Number 18, a recipe that makes 6 servings of parfait calls for 2/3 of a cup of sliced strawberries. You need to adjust the recipe to serve 8. What amount of strawberries is needed? So you start by, I'm going to compare servings to strawberries. The first one, when we reread this, we say that it has 6 servings, and it calls for 2/3 cups of strawberries. You need to adjust the recipe to serve 8. How many strawberries do you need? So we're going to start by multiplying 2/3 times 8, or 8 over 1, which will give us 16/3. Then we want to divide this by 6, or 6 over 1. When we do this, we want to rewrite this as 16 over 3 times 1/6. Then we're going to simplify out a 2, make this 8, and we'll make this a 3. 8 times 1 will give you 8. 3 times 3 gives you 9, so you need 8/9 cups of strawberries. If you have any questions about anything that you've seen in this video, please feel free to talk to your teacher about that.